0 पर कॉल करें।
We have
Welcome to Midday Prime. In the next 1 hour, this is your one-stop show for all that matters in the afternoon wheel. We'll get you all the latest from news and views from India and the world. We'll get you updates from the field of business, sports, and get you some interesting stories that are making headlines. I'm Arun Thomas, but first up, the big news of this hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the nation on achieving the milestone of 100 crore vaccination, says 100 crore vaccinations are just not a figure but a reflection of the strength of the country and is the creation of a new chapter of history. Prime Minister lauds the difficult but remarkable feat of administering 100 crore vaccine doses. Says experts and many agencies from home and abroad are very positive about India's economy. Also says being vocal for local has to be put into practice. Microsoft founder and philanthropist Bill Gates commends India's vaccination drive, says India has harnessed its core strengths to achieve the landmark of 1 billion doses. Lauds strong political will led by Prime Minister Modi's vision. The first Sea Lord and Navy Chief of UK, Admiral Tony Randon, visits National War Memorial in Delhi to pay homage, holds talks with Naval Chief Admiral Karambir Singh. And the 52nd edition of the International Film Festival of India to showcase a collage of the best of contemporary and classic films in Goa. Major OTT players invited to participate. BRICS Film Festival to be held alongside IFFI. Esteban Sazo and Martin Scorsese to be conferred the Satyajit Ray Lifetime Achievement Award. Well, lots to look forward to. Let's begin the news with the big story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation on achieving the milestone of 100 crore vaccination. Addressing the nation, Prime Minister lauded the difficult but remarkable feat of administering 100 crore vaccine doses. Prime Minister said that 100 crore vaccinations is not merely a figure, rather it's a creation of a new chapter of history.
100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज ये केवल एक आंकड़ा नहीं है, ये देश के सामर्थ्य का प्रतिबिंब है, इतिहास के नए अध्याय की रचना है। ये उस नए भारत की तस्वीर है जो कठिन लक्ष्य निर्धारित कर उन्हें हासिल करना जानता है।
Well, Prime Minister also said that people questioned India on how the country would deal with the pandemic. Prime Minister stressed that 100 crore vaccination mark is an answer to all the apprehensions and doubts.
जब 100 साल की सबसे बड़ी महामारी आई तो भारत पर सवाल उठने लगे। क्या भारत इस वैश्विक महामारी से लड़ पाएगा? भारत दूसरे देशों से इतनी वैक्सीन खरीदने का पैसा कहां से लाएगा? भारत को वैक्सीन कब मिलेगी? भारत के लोगों को वैक्सीन मिलेगी भी या नहीं? क्या भारत इतने लोगों को टीका लगा पाएगा कि महामारी को फैलने से रोक सके? भांति भांति के सवाल थे, लेकिन आज ये 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज हर सवाल का जवाब दे रहा है।
Prime Minister asserted that vaccinations were administered to everyone without any discrimination. Prime Minister added that it was ensured that VIP culture of entertainment or entitlement does not dominate the vaccination campaign.
हमारे लिए लोकतंत्र का मतलब है सबका साथ। सबको साथ लेकर देश ने सबको वैक्सीन मुफ्त वैक्सीन का अभियान शुरू किया। गरीब, अमीर, गांव, शहर, दूर सुदूर, देश का एक ही मंत्र रहा कि अगर बीमारी भेदभाव नहीं करती तो वैक्सीन में भी भेदभाव नहीं हो सकता। इसलिए यह सुनिश्चित किया गया कि वैक्सीनेशन अभियान पर वीआईपी कल्चर हावी न हो।
Well, underlying the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas or Sabka Prayas, Prime Minister said that India's vaccine campaign reached new heights and achieved new milestones by making public participation as the first line of defense in the country's fight against the pandemic.
महामारी के खिलाफ देश की लड़ाई में जन भागीदारी को अपनी पहली ताकत बनाया, फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस बनाया। देश ने अपनी एकजुटता को ऊर्जा देने के लिए ताली थाली बजाई, दिए जलाए। तब कुछ लोगों ने कहा था कि क्या इससे बीमारी भाग जाएगी, लेकिन हम सभी को उसमें देश की एकता दिखी, सामूहिक शक्ति का जागरण दिखा। इसी ताकत ने कोविड वैक्सीनेशन में आज देश को इतने कम समय में 100 करोड़ तक पहुंचाया है।
Hailing the scientific temperament, Prime Minister said that it is a matter of pride that the entire vaccination program of the nation has been science-born, science-driven and science-based.
हमारे सामने चुनौती मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को लेकर भी थी, प्रोडक्शन को स्केल अप करने की भी थी। इतना बड़ा देश, इतनी बड़ी आबादी, उसके बाद अलग अलग राज्यों में, दूर दराज इलाकों में समय से वैक्सीन पहुंचाना, ये भी किसी भागीरथ कार्य से कम नहीं था। लेकिन वैज्ञानिक तौर तरीकों और नए नए इनोवेशन से देश ने इस चुनौतियों के समाधान तलाशे, असाधारण स्पीड से संसाधनों को बढ़ाया गया।
Prime Minister said that experts and many agencies from home and abroad are very positive about India's economy. Prime Minister added that record investment and new employment opportunities will play a big role in making India's economy grow faster.
एक्सपर्ट्स और देश विदेश की अनेक एजेंसीज भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था को लेकर बहुत सकारात्मक है। आज भारतीय कंपनियों में न सिर्फ रिकॉर्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट आ रहा है, बल्कि युवाओं के लिए रोजगार के नए अवसर भी बन रहे हैं। पिछले महीनों में किए गए कई सारे रिफॉर्म्स, कई सारे इनिशिएटिव, गति शक्ति से लेकर नई ड्रोन पॉलिसी तक भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था को और तेजी से आगे बढ़ाने में बड़ी भूमिका निभाएंगे।
Focusing on the campaign of Vocal for Local, Prime Minister insisted the people on buying things made in India and extended greetings of the Festival of Light.
पिछली दिवाली हर किसी के मन मस्तिष्क में एक तनाव था, लेकिन इस दिवाली 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज के कारण एक विश्वास का भाव है। अगर मेरे देश की वैक्सीन मुझे सुरक्षा दे सकती है तो मेरे देश का उत्पादन, मेरे देश में बने सामान मेरी दिवाली और भी भव्य बना सकते हैं। 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज हमारे छोटे छोटे दुकानदारों, हमारे छोटे छोटे उद्यमियों, हमारे रेहड़ी पटरी वाले भाइयों बहनों, सभी के लिए आशा की किरण बनकर आई है।
The corporate sector has welcomed Prime Minister's call for being vocal for local. Prime Minister has said that just like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is a mass movement, in the same way, buying things made in India will help, especially in local traders going a large way in this festive season.
PM says 100 crore vaccine achievement answers doubts about India's capabilities and strengthened the position of India as a global pharma hub. It is encouraging to note that the vaccination drive has not only increased the confidence of people, trade and industry on economy, but has also created the positive economic projections by various national and international agencies. We are also proud of the fact that the government ensured equality for all during the vaccination drive.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi affirmed the role of people's participation or Jan Bhagidari in his article published in popular dailies like Times of India, Indian Express and Hindustan Times today. In his article, Prime Minister said that India's successful vaccination drive has demonstrated to the world that democracy can deliver and that it has shown the power of Team India. He said that people of India have come forward to unanimously trust Made in India vaccines. Further, Prime Minister Modi expressed his gratitude to all involved in achieving the landmark achievement and chronologically marked India's successful vaccination journey. Prime Minister Modi expressed joy and wrote that India completed the administration of 100 crore doses of the COVID-19 vaccine on October 21, 2021, in just about 9 months since the start of the vaccination drive. He also wrote that the journey from anxiety to assurance has happened and that our nation has emerged stronger thanks to the world's largest vaccination drive. He further added that it has been a truly Bhagirath effort involving multiple sections of society. To get a sense of the scale, assume that each vaccination took just 2 minutes for a healthcare worker. At this rate, it took around 41 lakh man-days or approximately 11,000 man-years of effort to reach this landmark. Well, for more inputs on that particular story there on India achieving that billion mark when it comes to vaccination, we've got Arun Sharma, our correspondent, joining us with more details. Arun, good afternoon. Arun, when one looks at it, 281 days to achieve the target, roughly of of crossing that 1 billion mark. If you put that, against say our campaign against TB, our campaign against polio, this is something that's unexpected, something that's that's history in the making.
That's right, Anil. Now, when we talk about polio vaccination drive, it took approximately 2 decades or 20 years time to eradicate polio. It all started in 1994. By 2014, we could eradicate polio. And when we talk about TB, more than 3 decades since the war against TB, when we talk about BCG vaccines, still going on. But when we talk about COVID-19 vaccines, in 9 months' time, we have vaccinated 100, we have administered 100 crore vaccines primarily. So this shows that how Atmanirbhar Bharat story of India is contributing immensely in fight against COVID-19. Now, in close to 9 months' time, we have administered 100 crore vaccine. It is because of the Atmanirbhar Bharat story and manufacturing vaccines like Covaxin and Covishield vaccines, and also doing global collaborations also when we have a Sputnik V vaccine in place. When we talk about the first DNA-based vaccine in the world, India is moving ahead in the direction, when we talk about Zycov-D vaccine, it is the first DNA-based vaccine. So yes, it's a story of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also clearly highlighting this fact that you need to trust the Atmanirbhar Bharat story. You need to trust the the local products of our country, and in that context, it is a big achievement for a country like India. First 10 crore vaccines, took 85 days to be administered. That means close to 3 months' time. But when you talk about vaccines from 91 crore to 100 crore, that means last 10 crore vaccination, it happened in a time span of 19 days. So this shows that how in last 8 to 9 months, India has built up its capacity. India has increased its manufacturing capacity. Equitable distribution has been ensured by center and states. And last but not the least, the platform like COVID. It is a technology achievement of India, whereby transparency is the key, and why this COVID form, this 100 crore vaccination mark was achieved with complete transparency, with no corruption involved.
Okay, Arun, now looking at the target set that India has, especially for December 2021, does the target set there, really possible to be achieved, or do you see that, since you mentioned 91 to 100 crore, the vaccination drive is, has been completed in 19 days. Do you see, the pace further picking up? One. Secondly, when it comes to our vaccines getting approved by the WHO, is there a latest update on that?
Well, we know this fact that as far as Covaxin is concerned, approval is still awaited, and very soon we can expect the approval from the WHO on the Covaxin front as well. That's number 1 point. Number 2, talking about December 2021 deadline, we know this fact that Health Minister has clearly in the Parliament mentioned this point as well, that by the end of this year or by 2021, entire adult eligible population will be vaccinated, at least a single dose will be vaccinated. So in that direction, India is moving ahead. And, so far, 8 states and union territories have achieved this target of vaccinating 100% of its eligible population as far as single dose is concerned. Now, these are the surprising states: Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. Now, these are the hilly states or hilly region primarily, whereby vaccination or doing vaccination was a tough target for the healthcare workers as well. UTs like Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Goa for that matter. Some of the northeastern states have also achieved the 100% vaccination of the of the eligible population. So close to 8 states and union territories have achieved this target, and the rest of the states and union territories primarily they have achieved more than 85 to 90% of the targets of vaccinating 100% of the of their entire eligible population. So the idea is that India is doing its best to vaccinate people. We are using drone technology. We are using drones primarily for the delivery of vaccination. Number 2, healthcare workers are also reaching on the hilly region, tough terrains, carrying the vaccine boxes, and climbing the mountains and reaching all those tough terrains to vaccinate even a single person. So this shows that Jan Bhagidari that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is talking about. This Jan Bhagidari is ensuring that the pace of vaccination is increasing gradually on a daily basis. First 10 crore doses of vaccination in 85 days. Last 10 crores, when we talk about the 100 crore mark, last 10 crore vaccination or vaccines being administered only 19 days. And if you look at week-on-week data, on a weekly basis, we are reducing these days, number of days of vaccination as far as 1 crore mark is concerned. So we have so far achieved, on 5 occasions, we have achieved more than 1 crore vaccination on single day. And this is being ensured by state and center coordination. That's number 1. Number 2, COVID platform is playing an important and significant role because it's a seamless connectivity. You can just do walk-in also. You can schedule appointment by COVID platform. Via COVID, you can completely monitor the status of the vaccination. And of course, this COVID is a technological marvel that India has manufactured. So on a technological front, it's a Make in India initiative. That's we're talking about COVID. On the vaccination front, Covaxin, Covishield are the manufacturing marvel or the Atmanirbhar Bharat story of India. And yes, by December 2021, the targets look very much possible as far as vaccination.
Okay, Arun, looking at the way, how has the world reacted to this particular, target that India achieved, considering, the scale of population that India has? How has the world, accepted, or how has the world looked at this achievement that India has been able to manage in inside 300 days?
So Anil, when the first COVID case that was registered in India, right from that day in 11 months time, only in 11 months time, India made its own Made in India vaccine. So that means we never had to depend on any other country for the vaccination part, as it used to happen in earlier mass vaccination programs, be it BCG, be it polio. So on all these mass vaccination programs, we had to depend on other countries for importing the vaccine and then vaccinating the people. This time around, when we talk about COVID-19 vaccination, India has manufactured designed and developed its own vaccine. And in 11 months' time, primarily from the first COVID case that was registered, we have developed our own vaccine. That's number one point. Number two, entire international community, international organization, world leaders are primarily appreciating and hailing the India's effort of vaccinating close to or more than 100 crore people. And 75% of this entire eligible population has got at least single dose of vaccine. So this is a big marvel for a country like India, where the population is a big challenge. 130 crore is the population size. If you look at even 100 crore people to be vaccinated, if you look at the eligible population, 75% of them have got their first or the single dose. So this is being hailed and appreciated by the world community. World Health Organization's chief is appreciating India's effort. Big institution, big corporate leaders like Bill Gates is appreciating India's effort of vaccinating people. The corporate sector is coming forward and appreciating India's effort. Global corporate giants are appreciating and appreciating India's effort. Look at it this way, Anil. On one side, state like Uttar Pradesh, where population is close to 25 crore. And on the other side, country like United States of America, where population is close to 25 crore to 30 crore. Over there, close to 13 lakh vaccines are being on an average being vaccinated on a daily basis. But when you talk about state like Uttar Pradesh, 16 to 17 lakh people are being vaccinated on single day. So this is an average vaccination we're talking about.
Okay.
So this shows that how one state of India and another country of the world, they both are competing. So yes, in that context,
well, I've got the larger picture that you're trying to articulate there. But the Prime Minister also stressed in this festive season on very much going for vocal for local. Do you see that having whenever the Prime Minister has made a clarion call with regards to say khadi products, or for that matter anything that that helps the local trade flourish, it's always worked. This time around in this festive season, considering we have crossed that, there is a sense of, I would say a sense of peace, especially when, festive season we are getting into. But do you see that, vocal for local having many takers, especially, now that we are very close to this particular festive season and the festive months that follow?
Well, Anil, so this festive season is very much different from the last time. Last time we were all in tension. We were, witnessing the COVID pandemic at the time. It was on peak at the time, not only in India but all across the world. There was no vaccine at that point in time. But now, we have vaccine. 100 crore vaccination doses have been administered. And the number of cases that we're witnessing now is completely less. It's close to 15,000 daily cases on an average now.
Okay.
It used to be 4 lakh to 5 lakh, 4 to 4.5 lakh cases in the month of April or May. So yes, in that context, this time festive season is going to be very much great. But two things from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's side. One, even if you are vaccinated, there is a need for a mask and COVID appropriate behavior that needs to be followed. Second, yes, push for or primarily push for vocal for local, or be vocal for local, because of the fact the kind of milestone that the India's research and development community has achieved by touching the vaccine, the kind of technological marvel that we have seen in terms of COVID platform or Arogya Setu platform. This shows that India's local power has much more strength and it can deliver quality products going forward. And this local product or the locally made products have strength of India, and that's the reason Prime Minister Narendra Modi clearly appealing to the countrymen that the focus should be on the local products and you should be vocal about the local products.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate your joining us. Clearly, COVID appropriate behavior in this festive season is still going to be, it needs to be followed, and that's going to be a point of consideration for each and every one of us, and also the Prime Minister's clarion call on going vocal for local. So try and buy more local products there from the people, from the artisans who are near you in this festive season. Well, moving on, in his article in the Times of India, 5 Steps to 1 billion doses, Microsoft founder Bill Gates has said that he was impressed by India's ability to address extremely difficult health challenges at the scale of a subcontinent with 1.4 billion people. He enumerated in his article that how India harnessed its core strengths to achieve the landmark of 1 billion doses. He said that India has leveraged its long-standing mass immunization experience and investments in robust health infrastructure to reach the remotest part of the country. He recounted how India harnessed its vaccine and drug manufacturing expertise, wherein Indian manufacturers like Serum Institute, Bharat Biotech and BioE have come forward to ensure vaccines for India and several low and middle income developing countries through COVAX and Vaccine Maitri initiatives. India also used its indigenous IT prowess by developing the CoWIN portal for monitoring the vaccination efforts, and Gates conveyed his optimism about the platform's potential to implement public health initiatives in India and other countries. He concluded that India has proven to be an example in how strong leadership and consistent investments in health and R&D can make a difference. Well, let's now move to a developing story. Well, the first Sea Lord and Navy Chief of UK, Admiral Tony Randon, was visiting India. He visited the War Memorial to pay homage. He also had talks today with the Navy Chief Admiral Karambir Singh. Also, the first tri-services exercise is presently underway between the three services of India and UK. The Army exercise, featuring the Gorkha Regiment of the Indian Army and Police Regiment of UK, is being held in Chaubatia in Uttarakhand. The Navy exercise is being held in the Arabian Sea till the 27th of October, while UK has fielded the carrier strike group HMS Elizabeth along with F-35 fighters and naval destroyers and a submarine, while 3 Sleeth-guided missile destroyers and 2 Sleeth frigates and MiG-29Ks and Kamov-31 choppers are representing Indian Navy. Well, for more on the story, we've got our correspondent Nandita Dagar joining us this afternoon on Midday Prime. Nandita, give us the significance of this particular exercise that India and UK is having, and also the significance of the visit, especially to India.
Yes, Anil, actually the British have brought out the charm offensive as far as wooing India is concerned. 3 high-level dignitaries, including the Foreign Secretary, the newly appointed Foreign Secretary, Ms. Liz Truss, also the Chief of Defence Staff, General Nick Carter, and Admiral Tony Randon. They all 3 of them will be in Mumbai on board the HMS Elizabeth II, which is their 65,000 ton aircraft carrier, the largest aircraft carrier, the biggest aircraft carrier, the heaviest one built by the UK so far, and that is projecting power and reach in the Indian Ocean region. The carrier group, of course, will be exercising with our Navy, but also there are exercises with the Air Force, so with Jaguars and Sukhois, which are also planned in the coming few days. These are high tempo exercises where of course cross deck landings, refueling from each other's tankers, also live firings, anti-submarine warfare drills, and they will be carried on. And the UK has made it clear. In fact, the British High Commission in India has said that India is an essential partner to the free, open and secure Indo-Pacific. Also, the UK has done a tilt towards the Indo-Pacific, as you know, and you've heard about the AUKUS deal, wherein they have joined hands with the US and Australia in transferring nuclear submarine technology to Australia, and that has ruffled feathers with China, because all this, the Quad, the AUKUS, and now the HMS Queen Elizabeth II, the carrier strike group, which is arriving here, as you correctly mentioned, with the 3 destroyers HMS Elizabeth, along with the submarine in tow, the HMS Defender also following in its wake. They are all projecting power, and the strategy is to give not just a signal to China, but also containing China, because the UK. Yes, please.
Nandita, one quick word before I let you go. Does this exercise somewhere, is it another marker? If one looks at markers, especially in this kind of exercise that follow, is it another marker of India's especially growing defense collaborations,
yes,
with many global powers in the world?
Yes, very much so, Anil, because in 2004 we were just a strategic partner. In 2021, that is this year in May, our Prime Minister Mr. Modi and Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, they held a summit meeting via video link, wherein it was a strategic comprehensive partnership which encompasses a gamut of emotions, include a gamut of relations, which includes technology transfer as well, high level visits, joint exercises. So the UK, not just through AUKUS and India, not just through Quad, they are also collaborating together. And let's just not forget that there is a Netherlands Royal Navy ship which is also a part of the carrier strike group of the British Navy, the HLMS Everston, and there are also US Marine Corps pilots on the F-35 Lightning jets that are on board the carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth II. So this is a coming together of the navies of the world to unite against in this new Cold War between the US and the West and China. So India, they all consider India a very strategic, and they have called India, quote unquote, an essential partner. So it is important for India holds the key to this door of the Indo-Pacific.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us. India, UK, they're beginning their first ever joint tri-service exercise. They're clearly a step forward in the right direction. Well, staying with UK there, UK Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs Elizabeth Truss will arrive in New Delhi on a 3-day visit to India. During a stay in New Delhi, Truss will hold talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest. As part of the visit, the UK Minister will travel to Mumbai on Saturday. External Affairs Minister said UK Secretary of State's visit will be an opportunity to review the Roadmap 2030 launched during the virtual summit and further deepen the partnership across various sectors like trade, science and technology, innovation, defense, climate, education and health sector. Well, moving on to National Prime. Well, first up, President, on the last day of his 3-day Bihar visit, President Ramnath Kovind visited the Patna Sahib Gurdwara and the Mahavir Temple, where he offered prayers for the welfare of humankind. He also visited the Vipassana Meditation Center, where he prayed for world peace. President Ramnath Kovind and the First Lady Savita Kovind visited Bihar Khadi Gram Udyog Bhavan in Patna. They paid homage to Bapu's statue and tried their hand at the 8th spindle charkha at the Khadi Mall. He was received by Bihar State Minister Shahnawaz Hussain. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed the 100 crore landmark, a milestone achieved in the ongoing fight against COVID-19. Over 100 crore 59 lakh vaccine doses have been administered across the country so far. More than 61 lakh vaccine doses have been administered in the last 24 hours. Well, moving to the drug case in Mumbai, Bollywood actor Ananya Pandey has arrived at the NCB office for questioning in the ongoing drugs case. Ananya, the daughter of actor Chunky Pandey, is expected to reach the NCB office in Mumbai. The 22-year-old was questioned for more than an hour by the anti-drug agency on Thursday regarding an alleged WhatsApp chat she had with Aryan Khan, who is currently lodged at the Athar Road jail in Mumbai. But for more details on that particular story, we are joined by our correspondent Yogi. Well, at this point of time, let's move on to our next story. The Indian Army displays Pinaka and smirched multiple rocket launcher systems in Assam. Lieutenant Colonel Sarath Battery Commander said that Pinaka and smirched multi-rocket launcher systems are designed to fire a variety of ammunitions. Quick reaction time and higher accuracy of these systems ensures delivery of very high volume of firepower on critical and time-sensitive enemies in a short time. He added that the smirched launcher is a very potent weapon in the arsenal of Indian artillery. He can fire up to a range of 90 kilometers. It can fire 12 rockets in 40 seconds. Major Srinath Moving on, the raids of NIA continues in Kashmir Valley. This morning, NIA conducted raids at multiple locations. Sources said that most of the raids were carried out at the house of either slain militants or alleged overground workers. Sources told that the sleuths of the National Investigating Agency conducted a raid at Parimpura in Srinagar outskirts at the house of a slain militant who had been affiliated with JKISIS. The slain militant, whose house was raided, was killed in 2017 at Zakura area of Srinagar outskirts. NIA also raided the house of an alleged Hizbul overground worker at Barthana Khamarwari. The said person is a land broker. Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and giving out message to stay healthy, Central Industry Security Force has organized a cycle rally which was flagged off from Mumbai's iconic Gateway of India. The cycle rally was flagged off by Anil Kumar, ADG South CISF, Hemant Nagrale, Mumbai Police Commissioner, Rajiv Jalota, Chairman, Mumbai Port Trust. Among others, the cyclists visited places of historic significance in Mumbai, including the August Kranti Maidan. Besides a tourist attraction, Gateway is also the monument from where the last British troops left India. At the flag-off ceremony, family members of those who contributed to the freedom struggle were also felicitated. The cycle rally started from Thiruvananthapuram and will reach Kevadia on October 31st on the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel to commemorate the Rashtriya Ekta Divas. Well, Kerala is expected to witness high rainfall activity for the next few days with the withdrawal of the southwest monsoon and the onset of northeast monsoon coinciding in the southern peninsula region around October 26. The Met Department in a release said that the southwest monsoon is likely to withdraw from the entire country around October 26. Simultaneously, the northeast monsoon rains are also likely to commence over the southeast peninsular India from around the 26th of this month. Meanwhile, the red alert issued for Idukki Dam has been revised to orange following a slight dip in the water level. Well, India's 52nd International Film Festival is around the corner. In the national capital Delhi, Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur announced important attractions related to this edition of the film festival. Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting L. Murugan, Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra and Festival Director Chaitanya Prasad were also present at the occasion.
To 28th November 2021. Mark these dates when eyes of cinema lovers around the world will be on India. One of the most beautiful states of India, Goa, is all set. The 52nd International Film Festival of India will begin in the state with a spectacular ceremony. The countdown to IFFI 2021 has begun. Tackling all the challenges of COVID-19, this year's IFFI is going to be a very special and one of the most memorable editions ever. There are going to be many segments and initiatives which will be organized for the first time in the history of IFFI. The Satyajit Ray Lifetime Achievement Award at the 52nd IFFI will honor two of the best directors of the world. American film director Martin Scorsese and Hungary's acclaimed director Oscar winner Istvan Svabo. Among the world's greatest directors will be honored with the Satyajit Ray Lifetime Achievement Award. India is celebrating its 75th year of independence, the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So, For the first time, 75 creative youngsters from all over the country are being given a unique opportunity to showcase their talent on the stage of IFFI. To meet the veterans attending IFFI, the jury will judge and select them on 7 arenas such as direction, screenwriting and acting. The last date for applications is 31st October.
आइए IFFI में भाग लीजिए, इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल ऑफ इंडिया एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां पर उभरती हुई प्रतिभाओं को भी अपनी प्रतिभा दिखाने का मौका मिलता है। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय फिल्मों से लेकर राष्ट्रीय फिल्मों को वहां पर दिखाने का मौका मिलता है, रीजनल फिल्मों को दिखाने का मौका मिलता है। अब तो OTT प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर जो दिखाया जाता है वो भी इस बार IFFI पर आपको देखने को मिलेगा। ये अपने आप में एक बड़ी उपलब्धि है, एक मौका है, एक ऐसे 75 युवा क्रिएटिव माइंड्स को भी आगे आने का जो अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, जिनको चिन्हित किया जाएगा और उनको अवसर मिलेगा इंडस्ट्री लीडर से मिलने का वहां पर और मास्टर क्लास अटेंड करने का। तो आइए जुड़िए इस बार के IFFI से, अगर आप में है दम तो बढ़ाओ कदम।
In times of the COVID-19 era, the popularity of OTT platforms reached new heights. For the first time ever, IFFI has invited major OTT players to participate in the festival. 5 big OTT platforms including Netflix, Sony Live, Woot, Amazon Prime will do international premiere of their films and series this time at IFFI. IFFI 2021 will begin with The King of All the World, directed by Carlos Saura. Mid-fest film will be The Power of the Dog.
It's just a man. Only another man.
Films that have won acclaim at major film festivals across the world will be screened at IFFI. Gobelin School La Image will host a virtual masterclass in Paris's famous School of Visual Communication and Arts. This time, a record number of 694 entries have been received for the international section. The jury for the international competition has also been announced. The chairperson of the jury is Rakshan Benatimad, also known as First Lady of Iranian cinema. Director Stephen Wally, United Kingdom. Sri Lankan film producer Vimukti Jayasundara. Oscar-nominated Colombian filmmaker Ciro Guerra. Neel Madhav Panda, who has won many national and international awards from India. BRICS Film Festival is being organized along with IFFI. IFFI has 5 focus countries this time: Brazil, Russia, China, India and South Africa. Curiosity about the 52nd edition of IFFI, one of the most prestigious film festivals in the world, continues to grow. Despite the challenges of the corona era, there has not been a slight decrease in its attractiveness. And filmmakers, directors, actors and cine lovers from across the globe are desperate to be part of IFFI once again. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, the 52nd edition of IFFI to have over 300 cinemas from across the world, and it's going to be a treat for movie lovers. Well, time now to shift focus and get you the latest from the world of business. Well, I've got Tanvi standing by. Tanvi, 2 days of bleeding in red. Has the market bounced back or is it volatile?
It hasn't bounced back. In fact, after a strong opening, Anil, the domestic stock markets have erased all of their gains in afternoon deals on Friday. So the Sensex at the BSE had slipped 246 points, or 0.4% to 60,678 a short while ago. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange had dropped 104 points, or 0.6% to 18,074. The broader market today has taken a much bigger hit, with the BSE mid-cap index slumping 1.1% and the small-cap index plunging 1.4%. The top index losers so far on the BSE are Hindalco, Tata Motors, Coal India and ITC, with losses of between 3.2% and 5%. The top index gainers are Bajaj Auto, HDFC, Kotak Mahindra and ONGC, with gains of between 1.3 and 1.8%. In other key Asian markets, tech stocks climbed on Friday following US tech stocks higher, while Chinese property stocks rallied following a surprise interest payment by debt-ridden property developer China Evergrande Group. But cyclical stocks dragged amid worries that central bankers will need to tighten monetary policy in order to tackle the persistent inflation. So, MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan had dipped 0.1%. Japan's Nikkei 225 index had gained 0.3%, led by technology shares again, while energy shares were the biggest drag. Hong Kong's Hang Seng index had also added 0.3%, but China's Shanghai Composite Index had lost 0.3% and South Korea's Kospi Index was trading flat. Over on Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Index was weighed down on Thursday by a collapse in IBM shares after a disappointing quarterly report. But the Nasdaq Composite Index gained and the S&P 500 Index touched a record high with help from high-profile stocks such as Tesla. So after hitting an intraday record on Wednesday, the Dow pulled back, declining 0.02%. The benchmark S&P clocked its 7th straight session of gains, advancing 0.3%. The Nasdaq Composite Index gained 0.6%, with Tesla being the Nasdaq's biggest boost during the session as investors digested the electric car maker's upbeat earnings despite a supply chain warning. Back home at the interbank forex market, the rupee had appreciated 8 paise against the dollar in opening trade on Friday amid a firm trend in domestic equities. Later in afternoon deals, the rupee was up 13 paise to trade at 74 rupees 73 paise against the US dollar. At the multi-commodity exchange, gold and silver are trading higher today in afternoon deals, taking cues from international spot prices. So the precious yellow metal had advanced 201 rupees at 47,613 rupees per 10 grams. Silver, on the other hand, had strengthened 507 rupees at 65,520 rupees per kilo. And petrol and diesel prices continued their upward move and touched new record highs after they were hiked for the third successive day across the country on Friday. In the national capital, both petrol and diesel rates were risen by 35 paise each. So following the latest price revision by Indian Oil Corporation, petrol in Delhi is now retailing at 106 rupees 89 paise a litre, while diesel is being sold at 95.62 rupees. In the financial capital, Mumbai, petrol price now stands at 112 rupees 78 paise per litre, while diesel costs 103 rupees 63 paise a litre. And internationally, global crude oil prices fell on Friday, with Brent poised for its first weekly dip in 7 weeks now, as demand for oil products in power generation cooled off amid easing coal and gas prices. Also, a forecast for a mild US winter also weighed on the market. So Brent crude dropped 50 cents or 0.6% to $84.11 a barrel. Brent had touched a 3-year high, by the way, of $86.10 on Thursday, but was on track to slip 0.9% in the week. US crude fell 49 cents or 0.6% to $82.01 a barrel, following a 92-cent loss on Thursday. So some relief coming from the global energy market, but we still have to keep a watch on the global crude oil prices. Back to you, Anil.
Well, thank you, Tanvi, for the latest from the world of business. Well, let's now take a look at what's making news across the globe. Well, Barbados has elected its first ever president to replace Britain's Queen Elizabeth as head of state in a decisive step towards shedding the Caribbean islands' colonial past. Sandra Mason was elected late on Wednesday by a 2/3 vote of a joint session of the country's House of Assembly and Senate, a milestone that government said in a statement on its road to republic. Mason, 72, will be sworn in on November 30th, the country's 55th anniversary of independence from Britain. Well, hundreds of school children stormed the Democratic Republic of Congo's parliament on Thursday amid a strike by school teachers over unresolved issues related to the rollout of the government's free primary education program. Teachers went on strike at the start of the school year on October 4th over several issues, including salaries, bonuses, pay and retirement age, according to the Congo Teachers Union. On Thursday, hundreds of students in their uniform charged into the National Assembly waving branches and chanting, "We want to study." Well, Melbourne residents flocked to the city's cafe on Friday after the world's most lockdown city emerged from its latest spate of restrictions designed to combat the spread of COVID-19. Australia's second largest city has so far endured 262 days of nearly 9 months of restrictions during 6 separate lockdowns since March 2020, representing the longest cumulative lockdown for any city in the world. Just over 70% of adults in Australia are now fully vaccinated, and many residents are planning to fly overseas again as international border restrictions start to ease from November. Well, time now for stories from the world of sports. Well, I've got Narayan standing by. Over to you, Narayan.
Thanks, Anil. Let's get started with some action from the ICC T20 World Cup. In men's T20 World Cup, Bangladesh beat Papua New Guinea by 84 runs to qualify for the Super 12 stage. And Bangladesh first posted an imposing 181 runs for the loss of 7 wickets as they rode on skipper Mahmudullah's blazing 50 off 28 balls and Shakib's aggressive 46 of 37 balls. Shakib then showed why he is Bangladesh's greatest ever cricketer with a brilliant spell of 4 for 9 in his 4-over spell as Papua New Guinea were all out for 97 in 19.3 overs, chasing 182. Papua New Guinea was never on course for a comfortable chase. They lost openers Lega Sika and skipper Ashadwala cheaply. Meanwhile, Scotland qualified for its first ever T20 World Cup Super 12 appearance with an 8-wicket win over Oman. The Kyle Korzer-led side, in fact, did it in convincing fashion in the Muscat as it topped the Group B undefeated with wins over Bangladesh, Papua New Guinea and the host Oman. The 2021 edition was Scotland's 4th T20 World Cup appearance. It was one among 12 participants of the inaugural tournament in 2007. It finished bottom in its first round. That also included India and Pakistan. Scotland's next appearance, the 2009 World Cup held in England, fell on similar lines as it was quashed by South Africa and New Zealand in the first round. The Super 12 round of ICC T20 World Cup 2020 will kickstart from October 23 with Australia versus South Africa game at Sheikh Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. Bangladesh, Scotland, Sri Lanka are the 3 teams that have already qualified for the Super 12 round, and the last team will be decided after today's game between Namibia versus Ireland and Sri Lanka versus Netherlands. Namibia will look to carry forward the winning momentum when they take on Ireland in the group stage match in the ongoing ICC T20 World Cup. Ireland have not qualified for the main draw of the T20 World Cup since 2012 and have been particularly poor in the shortest format. Meanwhile, Namibia have made history at this tournament. Their victory over Netherlands was their first at the World Cup, and all indications are that they will not be satisfied with that. While Sri Lanka locks on with Netherlands at the Sharjah Cricket Stadium in Sharjah, Sri Lanka have already qualified for the Super 12 rounds, where Netherlands are out of contention to progress any further. In the showpiece event, Sri Lanka registered a crushing win over Ireland in their last match to seal their spot in Super 12. Top knocks from Moninda Hasaranga and Pathum Nishanka, followed by a brilliant all-round display with the ball led by Mahesh Tikshana, saw the team beat a miserable Irish side by 70 runs. Now shifting focus to tennis, number 2 Diego Schwartzman outstood Andy Murray to reach the quarterfinals of the European Open. Murray, who came on as the wild card, gave the 29-year-old a battle and nearly forced the third set by taking a second to a tie-break before finally crashing out, losing 6-4, 7-6. The match between the Scot and the Argentine was a long time coming, as the two had never faced each other despite more than a decade of overlap in their successful career. Earlier, 7-seed Harris looked solid with a commanding 6-2, 6-3 win over Jan-Lennart Struff. The 24-year-old South African fired 11 aces to power past German opponent. That's all from the sporting world. Back to you, Anil.
Well, thank you, Narayan, for the latest from the world of sports. Well, time now to move to our next segment, Live Prime. Well, starting first up with Dubai, which officially inaugurated the world's largest and highest ferry wheels on Thursday as the city seeks to reinforce its status as a major tourism hub. The observation wheel was officially opened to the public, located at the Blue Waters Island. The Dubai Eye, known as the Eye in Dubai in Arabic, stands at 250 meters tall. It can take 1750 visitors in one rotation, which takes over 30 minutes. It's the latest attraction to open in the region's tourism and business hub after the Waxwork Museum Madame Tussauds opened earlier this week. Well, that's really one of the places I would have on my bucket list as the pandemic eases and travel restrictions open up all around the world. Well, that's it in this edition of Midday Prime. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Take care.